Be learning how to graph an inequality and also look at an inequality on a graph and write an inequality. So for the first part of this lesson, we'll be taking a look at how to graph an inequality. So if you take a look at the first problem, we need to graph the solution set for x is greater than 3. We'll go to where 3 is at on the number line. Since there's no equal sign in this problem, we're going to use an open circle, and we will do that for any problem that doesn't have an equal sign under the inequality. So we're going to put an open circle on 3 because 3 is not included in the solution set. But all the numbers that are greater than 3 are. Now when your variable's on the left-hand side, you can use the arrow, and the way the arrow is pointing is the direction you'll shade on the number line. So all of the numbers to the right of 3, not including 3, but all the way to infinity, would be the solution for x is greater than 3. The next one we can look at is a less than problem. So if x is less than -1, we'll find -1. We'll put an open circle on -1 since there's no equal sign. So -1 is not included in the solution set. It's just the boundary number. It's the edge of the answers. X less than 1 would be all of the numbers that go to the left, all the way to -infinity. And when you want to graph a solution set for an inequality that has an equal sign underneath of it, we will use a filled-in circle. That signifies that -2 is not only the boundary for the solution, but -2 is also included in the solution. So x is greater than or equal to -2 is how you would read this. So the numbers that are greater than or equal to -2 would go to the right, and if you look, since your variable is on the left-hand side, the arrow is pointing to the right, so you would shade to the right. Numbers get bigger on the right of the numbers. Take a look at the next one. We have x is less than or equal to -3. So since there's an equal sign, we will find -3 on the number line. We will fill in a circle right on it because it is included in the solution set, and the numbers that are less than go to the left because the arrow is pointing to the left. Now when we are graphing solution sets for inequalities, when your variable is on the right-hand side, if we go to -2 and do an open circle, and if you simply use the arrow pointing to the right, that's not going to work because these numbers are greater than -2, and this inequality is actually x is less than -2. So that's not going to work when your variable is on the right. So what I want you to do for these problems is when your variable is on the right-hand side, before you graph, I want you to move your variable to the left-hand side, move the number to the other, but make sure the arrow is still pointing towards the variable like it is in this problem. You want to make sure you keep this the same, the open end going to the -2. Now you'll see that the arrow is pointing left because x is less than -2, and you would shade to the left. So if your variable is on the right-hand side, you're going to move it to the left. You will keep the point pointing at the x. This will be a filled-in circle at -4, and this is less than, so it goes to the left. So when you have a solution set you need to graph and your variable is on the right, you will move it back to the left, put the number on the right, and you will switch the inequality symbol to make sure that right now the open end goes with the x, so we want to make sure we keep that the same, so we have to flip that sign. Now we know we go to -3 with a filled-in circle because of the equal sign, and then we shade to the right. My arrow is pointing right because x is greater than -3. For the last one, we put x on the left, keep the point going with it, put the 0 on this side. So it's going to be an open circle on 0 because there's no equal sign, and we will be going to the left because it's less than and the arrow is pointing left. For the last part of this lesson, we'll be looking at a number line and we'll be trying to determine what the inequality is from the graph. So for each one of these problems, it says use x. We'll write down x first. Then we're going to determine what way the arrow should be pointing. Well, numbers are getting bigger because they go to the right, So we will point that arrow right. Then if it's an open circle, you'll put no equal sign. And then the number comes from what number it's on. Well, this would be -1 to -3. The next one, start with the x. The graph is going left, so you're going to point the arrow left. It's a filled-in circle, so we will have an equal sign, and it's on -1. So x is less than or equal to -1. In this last graph, we take a look at the fact that, okay, so we start with x. The graph is going right, point the arrow right. Filled-in circle, so we put an equal sign, and it's on -2. And we read that as x is greater than or equal to -2. The last one, the graph is going left, so point the arrow left. It starts at 1, 2, 3. The number is 4, and I'm not putting an equal sign because it's an open circle.